Hello guys, and welcome back, or welcome here if you are new. My name is Amy and this is Pretty Little Paperbacks. So in today's video I'm going to be sharing some books that I have been reading this summer. So there's no reason to delay, so let's go ahead and get right on into it. The first book that I read for summer in my TBR was Stay With Me by Becky Wade. Now I do have a video just dedicated to this book. I love this book. This is a 5-star rating from me. I thought this book just had so many wonderful qualities. The main characters are Sam and Genevieve. They just seemed like a more realistic type couple. There were several things that I enjoyed about this book. I'll just name a few right here. And I will say one thing is, in this book, in their relationship, what I liked is that each of them had things about themselves that they knew that they had to work on, but then there were other aspects where something that they had could help the other person. I just loved that. I loved that she could come to his rescue with things and he could come to her rescue with things. And you know what? That is not that far-fetched. I know for me and my husband, you know, I have certain strengths, he has certain strengths. I have certain weaknesses and he has certain weaknesses, and so we balance each other out. And although their struggles are far different than ours, I still like how that played out. So this book is a contemporary romance. The other stories in the book did flow really well with the main storyline with the two characters. This is just a good book for anyone. Next, I read Emerald Windows by Terry Blackstock. And I will tell you that this book is definitely older. This is from the early 2000s, and I want to say it was 2001. Fun fact, I was class of 2000. However, I had enough credits where I was able to graduate early. So I ended up graduating in December of 1999. They did let me walk with my class in May. I was not able to attend some other senior events because I did graduate early, but I was okay with that. Okay, back to the book. If you know Terry Blackstock and her writing, she is a very fast-paced writer in my opinion, and so that really keeps you wanting to keep reading her stories. Yes, because this book is 20 years old, I could definitely tell a difference in some of the writing, some of the verbiage, and things like that. Some things were kind of outdated, but that's okay because you know what? I still give this book a 4-star. So essentially you have Nick and Brooke. They're the main characters. So they originally knew each other from high school. Nick was an art teacher and Brooke was his student. She was very good in art, very gifted. And basically somebody walks in, they think they see something, and this person has it out for the teacher, has it out for Brooke, and this person just through the whole book is just putting their nose where it doesn't belong. And I was like, okay, this person, they need to step on back. So basically, because of what this person thought they saw, and they started rumors and gossiping, as soon as Brooke graduates, she ends up leaving her hometown and she moves away for about 7 years. So that affected her relationship with her family, with her sister. So after 7 years, Nick is working at his church and he is starting a project of restoring or adding stained glass windows. And so he has the opportunity to hire whomever he wants to help him with this project. So he basically decides that he wants to ask Brooke to come and help him because over the years he has heard that she has worked a lot with stained glass and she is very talented in the art world. And so of course she is very hesitant to take this job because she knows that by coming back, this is going to cause the rumor mill to pick up again. And like I said, it affects not only her but her family and other people in town. But there comes a point when you have to stand up for yourself, and that's pretty much where she is at. She's over it. She's over people trying to run her life. And so there is a story of redemption, there is a salvation, there is some romance, lots of emotion. But overall, I enjoyed this book, and like I said, this is a 4-star. Next, I read Summer at Oyster Bay and this is from Jenny Hale. This book was written in 2016. This is a summer romance book, and I will tell you off the bat, I gave this a 3 stars. This was a good book. There were some parts that I liked as far as the family aspects. The romance was cute, but I don't know. There were parts of this book when I was reading it, and I was like, okay, I just want to get through this book. I didn't necessarily want to DNF it, but there were parts where I was bored. So basically you have Emily and Charles. Emily is from Oyster Bay. It's in the Chesapeake area. And Charles comes in and he buys this property. He wants to revamp it. He wants to buy another property on Oyster Bay that is in her family. And of course, because of all the memories, she does not want to see it go, but she doesn't own the property. So basically throughout the book, she is trying to sway him, persuade him to let her family keep this property, but it was a 3 star. So after I read Summer at Oyster Bay, I picked up this book and I was not feeling it. I was like, no, I was not in the mood to read it. So I put this book down and I ended up picking up this book, Double Take. So as I'm reading that book, I end up getting sick. Me and my husband got sick. And I was not in the mood to read at all. It was not helping me. It was not making me feel better. I was like, no. So I ended up putting that book down. And then a little while later, I did go back to this book and I recently finished it. And I will tell you that I did end up enjoying this book. So this is book 2 in the Three Sisters Island series. The first book covers the older sister, Cam. This book covers Maddie, who is the middle child. Basically, how this book starts out from the very beginning is that their dad sells their childhood home and he buys part of an island, and he buys a old camp where him and his wife met like many years ago. And so that's kind of where it begins, and then they kind of dive into the story of Cam. Now they're going into Maddie. What I did like about this book and this series overall so far is it does a good job of including all of the characters. So even though a large part of this book is about Maddie, there's still a lot of stories including all of the characters, which that I really like. So this is a romance book, but the romance is not as prevalent as in maybe some other stories. You know it's there, but it's not like the forefront. It's just kind of intertwined in the story. There was one thing in particular I did not like when reading this, is some of the language was just, you know, outdated, and it just kind of felt older, being that the characters are like in their 20s. Like the main character, Maddie, is she in her 20s? Yeah, she's in her 20s. Now there was a variety of characters of different ages, but I don't know, the tone, just certain words just sounded kind of aged and just outdated. But I did like the overall story, the story of second chances, of, you know, forgiveness. It's a really good family style book. So I give this probably a 3.5. I'm not going to say 4 because, like I said, some of the wording I just was not down with, but this was a good book to read. A little bit slow. I still looked forward to reading it and seeing what happened, so that's always a good thing. So pretty much that is what I have been reading. The next book I'm going to start, this is a Hope Beach novel by Colleen Coble, and this is Tidewater Inn. I've recently hauled this book. I do have 2 other books in my summer TBR that unfortunately I did not get to. One of them I had planned to read when we went on our beach vacation, but we had to cancel it due to us being sick. The other book is another Jenny Hale book. I'm just afraid I won't enjoy it, so I'm just going to leave those 2 there for now. Maybe I will pick them up towards, well, I guess we're already leaning towards the end of summer, but if I don't end up reading them this year, maybe I'll read them next year. So that is going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you're new here, of course, I would love to have you subscribe. And until next time, take care. Bye guys.